Good morning. Today is the 16th of October 2023 and we're going to go through some of today's levels on the MES, ES, SPY, Qs, NASDAQ and oil, crude oil. On my screen is today's economic calendar and there's nothing of high importance today, but we've got a few events to be wary of. We had some news at 8:30, I'm not sure, did that do much? Yeah, look, didn't do a great deal. And we've got some Fed speakers today to be wary of. One at 10:30, that's like 2 out of 3 on the scale. And the other Fed's after the market close. And we've also got 2 PM, the monthly budget statement. So we may see a bit of movement at 10:30 and 2 PM today. So just bear that in mind if you're in a trade. So looking at the ES or the MES 1 hour time frame, I've pre-drawn my levels which I'm watching for today. We can see in the last, let's get my pen open, we can see in the last few days we've had a bit of a change of trend. We're in a downtrend. I'm not sure why the pen's not opening. Let's try again. So we've got the highs from last week at 44.25 area, and we're potentially, that's an area I'm watching for potential rejection this week. So I can draw it in now. So this area up here, I'm watching for potential rejection. If it gets there today, I don't think it will get there today, but that's an area I'm watching for the week. Today I'm going to be watching for I'm going to say a higher risk rejection at 44.01, 4400, that area. It's been a known area, but we've kind of been through it a few times, so it's not holding like it has done previously. So that's why I think it's a higher risk rejection if we can get up to this area. And I'm also watching 44.10, and that's a number we've spoken about a few times in the past, and it was in play a couple of times last week as well, and potentially we were close to it on Friday. So that's the area I'm watching. 44.10 is a higher probability, but still want to go with confirmation. And 44.25 area, this entire area, if we can get up to there. It's a daily area as well, 44.22, which is a solid yellow line. For bounces, these are rejection areas. I'm not sure why I said rejection, I might have said bounce by accident. And these are the rejection areas I'm watching for. We're technically in a downtrend right now. We've broken through that area which we talked about on Friday's video, and potentially we could be putting in another leg down, but we won't know that. We need to watch the chart. But we're right on the downward trailing 50 moving average right now. So we've just about closed above it in the last hour, but it could be an area, but we closed above it here as well. So we need to see what's going to happen. We could potentially put in a new low or double bottom. So if we do come into this area, so I'm potentially looking for a double bottom at 43.50. I've got 47.50 marked on the chart, and that's based on area confluence as well. I'm trying to find the average areas between bottoms and tops of candles. But 43.50 is the area to watch for a potential bounce, this area here. Also note the 200 moving average is curved around, so it's now an upward trailing 200. So potentially we could see a bounce off of that area. I'm just seeing if there's any more bounces. We could potentially watch for a high risk bounce at this area here. There's a pivot here, we had pivots here, and it slowed down there as well. We came back into that area once in the post-market or pre-market last week, and we tried it again today. So potentially if we come back down to this area, I might be interested in taking a higher risk bounce, and this area is 43.58. I'm just going to put a line in, and what I'm doing, I'm just looking for tops and bottoms of candles, and I based it on these candles here, tops of these candles, and then it just works out. It's the tops of those candles and it's smack bang on the bottom of today's candle as well. So pre-market low, I'll be looking for a potential bounce. But if we do see a big sell-off like we saw last Friday and Thursday, then I may wait for a break and retest. But remember, we have got this 200 moving average right below, so it might be hard trying to crack that. So potentially the best area will be 43.50 for a bounce. That's what I'm watching for. Let me zoom out so you can see some other levels I've got. I won't go through them all, but potentially watching down here at 42.40 for a double bottom or treble bottom if we can get back down to that area. So this area here I'm watching for a bounce, and this entire area is a supply, is a area of demand on the daily. So I need to find an area which would be a possible turnaround. Potentially the top of that area 42.77, so that could be the first area for a potential bounce. Got this area marked off as well at 42.57, and we've got 42.40 to 42.35 as a possible bounce area, but it's a long way off. We may not get down there, we may not even get down there at all this week, but that's an area to keep an eye on. And we've got concentrated volume in this area, not the highest volume, but a lot of volume in this area as well, considering we've only been in that area for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and we've got higher than average volume. What would be the average volume? Probably about that. Another area to watch for a bounce as well is potentially, now it'll be high risk because we're quite close to it, it's 43.70 as well, and that's basically if you can see what was going on right now in the pre-market, zoom in again, we've broken this consolidation area, and we may come back to retest it. So let's just put in one more line. Although I probably won't take that, I really want to wait for a rejection up at 4400 or 43.50. They're the two main areas I'm watching for today, and I'm going to be patient as well. Going over to SPY now. Similar plays to ES. We've got the bounce area down here at 430, well 431 area. Potentially 430 is another bounce area, and we could potentially see a higher risk bounce of 433 as well. We could see it breaking out, pulling back, but remember we're in a downtrend, so that's a higher risk bounce as well, and potentially we may see something like that set up where we're coming in to make a new low. If you zoom out, it's basically a flag pattern. So just draw it in. So we've got this trend here, and then we've got this trend here, and this trend here. So that's the pattern we could be looking at, and potentially we could be looking to bounce off of there if we go with this trend, and we may see a move back down. So 434.50 area for potential rejection, and then similar to what we had in ES, and then we've got 436 for a higher probability rejection as well. I think that's the area, but I think probably 438 is the best place. 438.60 is a high, so this is, I need to mark that off as well. That's my preferred rejection area. So if we can get up to this area, then potentially we might see a nice rejection. So to sum up SPY, we've got a bounce down at the lows at 420, that's a higher probability. We've got 425.40 is another higher probability, and then the higher risk bounce would be 431. 430 is another high risk bounce, and then for rejection we've got a higher risk rejection at this point, 436, and 436 to 437, so with confirmation on them, and then we've got a higher probability rejection at 438.23. So that's the area to watch, or 438.60, that area. What areas am I watching? I'm probably going to be watching down here, so 420 and up here. They're the main areas I'm waiting for. potentially for 25.50 area. Okay, so that's SPY. Looking at Qs. Okay, so a little bit stronger than SPY. 361.60 to 362 area. It's coming off of this area here, and then we came back down and retested it. So that's, and we've got the 200 moving average upward trending. So this entire area for a potential bounce. And again, we need to break through. We've got this downward channel forming. Lower, so we've got lower low, lower high, lower low. I'm not sure what this is. Could be a lower high if we see a change of direction. So a bounce will be against the trend, so just go with confirmation. And if I was to go for rejection, 371.10 area and 373.80, so 373 to 373.75 area, that area for rejection. Okay, that's it for Qs. Nasdaq's very similar. We've got a lot of confidence in this area, and there's a bit of an area of demand as well, and we can see a higher concentrated volume as well. So this entire area is a potential natural area of support. So 14.950 is a potential bounce area. Also, we've got 15,000. It's a nice round number and a psychological area. We see we sat around that area for some time before we broke out. So 15,000 is a potential area as well to watch for a bounce. And you've got a higher risk bounce here at 15,080. And then that's the top end of this supply zone, which is based on these candles here. We're currently at an area, I was on watch last week, so 15,175. That is a break or retest long or a rejection, but that's high risk with confirmation. We're right at that point now. I zoom in, so I wouldn't take that. I would probably personally want to wait for the market to settle down. But this area I quite like, 15,230 to 15,240, and it's the tops of candles here, bottoms of candles in this area as well, bottoms there. So potentially we could see a really nice rejection. And it's a downward trailing 50 moving average as well, and we will be rejecting it on the trend as well. Potentially that is the trend setting up there as well, so everything looks like it's aligning. It would align nicely for a rejection at 15,240. So that's an area I'm watching for, this area here, and that's it really. And then we've got 15,360, a bit like SPY, it's a higher probability but with confirmation. And then we've got the double top we could look for as well at 15,450 and 15,360, that level there. Okay, lastly, crude oil futures. I'm in on this on a swing trade at the moment. My entry was down this area. In fact, I got in when we came back down to that area. Areas I like, quite like this area here for a break and retest long, and we'll be going with the upward trend as well. So you can see the trend being put in, but we've been consolidating since late Friday. So we tried a break. Is this a fake breakout? We don't know. We'll find out. It could be a break and retest already in operation. So just keep an eye on that area. That's 87.80. If we come back down to this area, maybe we could see that as a bounce area, and that's 86.70, 86.69 for a potential bounce. And you know what used to be the ceiling has yet to be tested as the floor, so that's a potential area we could see a bounce. Just to confirm, we're also above all the major moving averages as well, the 20, the 200, I meant the 50, the 200, the 20 as well. So this is looking like a nice, it's still in an uptrend, so bear that in mind if we're going to go for some rejections, which I'm coming up to now. So this area here, which is $90.42, $90 exactly for potential rejection, but it'll be a scalp rejection because it's against the trend. And the same for 92, 66 and 93. That's a, I would say, scalp it as a rejection because against the trend. And if we do get up this area, then you think there'll be some unfinished business to create a double top on the daily as well to match this one. So 95.30 through to 95 is a potential rejection area. So areas to watch. Quick look on the daily. So if you look on the daily, it's looking like a good setup. We've broken that trend down. We come through, pulling back, and we're looking at a possible RBI or free bar play for potential breakout. Again, we're above all the daily moving averages as well on oil, so we're looking pretty strong there. And next rejection area, so even that, I'd be at 91.73, as we just talked about. Probably it's got potential to push back up to here, maybe even break it, especially with the extra conflict as well in Ukraine and now Israel. Oil may be a bit of a premium if anything escalates further. So looking back, we've got this area here which we broke out once through it and came back down, rejected it, and then maybe the second time it might want to actually break out, but we'll see when we get there. So for now, even on my swing trade, I think I'm probably going to hold it, and then I'm going to decide when we get to 89.75 area what to do. If it does pull back, I want to hold it through this break and retest area for potential that way. But if it breaks down through this area, I'll be getting out of that. Remember, my entry was here. In fact, my entry was probably close to the bottom when it came back the second time, because I missed it the first time round, and as I said, I'm going to catch it when it comes back down. That's exactly what I did. Okay, I think that's it really. Just go back to I've got some levels on SPX as well, some areas. So I'll keep an eye on SPX, and I haven't really watched it enough. I should watch it more, but areas of confluence, areas of supply and demand, support and resistance. I haven't put that one in, but these areas I'm watching for. So if I want to go long in a trade and I'm coming into this 200 moving average, or I'm just below an SPX level I've got marked, then it might make that trade a little bit more difficult on ES or SPY. So I want to keep an eye on these areas, and if I'm above an area and I want to go long, then that would give me better potential. So that's why I thought I'd mark it off. And that's it. MES again, just quickly recap, these are the main levels I'm watching for today. I'm watching for a rejection up at 4400 to 4401, that's my main area. And then, or my main area, but with confirmation. And my next area I'm really watching for is 43.25, that's the area. If we do get up to this area, I will probably layer in, or not probably, I will, just part of my plan. I will get an entry there, entry at the yellow hashed area, and my last entry will be just before we get to that pivot, and my stop will be just maybe 50 cents above that area, because it's a good stop as well, because if it does break that, it's got a long way to go. So that's quite an easy way to define your risk, because we've got the level in place and we've got our stop in place already. We know where our stop's going to be. So that's why I'm happy to layer into this one. So I'll take 3 going up, and when it reverses, I'll either take 1 on the way back down, or if it breaks down or breaks and retest that area, I'll add a 4th. So I'll have a quarter, a quarter, a quarter, and then another quarter there, and hopefully see the rejection back down to one of my targets. Okay, well that's it. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to hit the like button, and especially if this is helpful. And I will see some of you in the live trade room or in my recap video today. And I'll be back here tomorrow at 2 PM British time, and that's 9 AM Eastern time. Okay, thanks for watching.